5 ways American bison are dangerous to humans. Well, bison have injured more people in Yellowstone National Park than any other animal there, and they've held that title since the 1980s. It's the shaggy, slow-looking animal that every tour bus stops for because everybody wants a picture standing close to one. So you're at a campground on the shore of Yellowstone Lake in Wyoming, walking off dinner with your grandson beside you, and the evening's got that easy golden feel to it. A bull bison is grazing at the edge of the campground, calm enough that a couple of families have already gotten close for a photo. Feeling fine about it, you stop, get your phone up, and you take a picture too. A truck rolls by and lays on its horn. The bull's head snaps up. The grazing stops. Its whole body goes stiff, staring straight at you, and before you even lowered your phone, it's already closing the ground between you. That's a real evening from this past July at Bridge Bay Campground on Yellowstone Lake. A 65-year-old man named Carl McDaniel, was walking with his grandson after dinner. Not far off, a bull bison, already keyed up with the summer breeding season underway, got startled by that passing truck's horn and turned on both of them. McDaniel told the boy to run the other way. The bull caught McDaniel instead and threw him about 8 feet into the air. He came down hard enough to break his leg, and then the animal stood right over him afterwards, shaking his head like he wasn't finished deciding what to do about him. A photographer camping nearby caught the whole thing on video and then had to run in yelling to pull the animal's attention off of him. It was good for him. It was already the park's second bison attack in 2 weeks. Rangers got McDaniel to the hospital, and by his own account, and by everybody else who stood there watching, nobody had done a single thing wrong. That's the kind of animal we're talking about today. 2,000 pounds that the whole country has decided is basically a big furry cow right up until it ain't. The warning holds whenever bison roam, not just Yellowstone, and that story at the campground is nowhere near the far end of what's coming. I'm Mr. V, and this is Untamed Lens. Here are 5 ways American bison are dangerous to humans, ranked from the one almost everybody underestimates to the one where doing everything right don't change a thing. Number 5, the speed. You're pulling off a scenic highway turnout somewhere in bison country, and there's a bull out in the grass. Maybe it's 40 yards off. His head is down, and his tail hangs loose, and it's paying you no mind at all. Feeling fine about the distance, you watch it for a minute, and maybe get a picture. Then his head comes up. The National Park Service tells every visitor the same thing. Stay at least 25 yards back from a bison. That sounds like plenty of room until you find out bison can run 35 miles an hour, flat out with no run and start needed. Close to 3 times faster than a person can sprint, and faster than the fastest 100-meter dash anybody has ever officially run. Now, at that speed, 25 yards disappears in under 2 seconds. A football field, in end zone to end zone, disappears in under 6. Researchers went back through 15 years of Yellowstone's own case files. Every time a bison actually injured someone, well, they pulled the numbers on how close people had been standing beforehand. 25 people got hurt over that stretch, and the distance between them and the bison averaged about 11 feet. That's less than half of what the rule requires. And it means most of the people on that list never had 2 full seconds to begin with. You got about as much time to hit that subscribe button right now as bison's got to close 25 yards on somebody standing at a scenic turnout. Don't sit on it, tap it. Go ahead and hit that like button while your thumb's already down there. All right, closing the distance is only the opening move. What the animal does once it actually reaches you on its own kind of bad, well, it's getting there. Number 4 is the toss. There's a bison off to the side of the boardwalk near one of the geysers, where the basin's there. Close enough that everybody stop and get a shot of it. You step off the wood and onto the grass for a better angle, right? A few feet closer than the family that just walked away. Well, on May the 30th of 2022, a 25-year-old woman from Ohio did exactly that near Old Faithful, walking to within about 10 feet of a bison for a picture. It didn't wait around. catching her with its horns and throwing her about 10 feet through the air. She landed with a puncture wound and a handful of other injuries. And by the account of the people who study these attacks, she got off light. A bull bison can weigh 2,000 pounds. That's a full ton. The same number stamped on the door of a heavy-duty pickup. Wildlife officials sort bison injuries into three kinds. There's getting butted in the head, or getting butted by the head, getting gored by a horn, and getting tossed, which just means thrown clear off your feet by the force of the hit. A ton of muscle doesn't need to stay angry very long to put a grown adult in the air. One swing of its neck is all it takes, right? A toss like that is bad enough on its own. What's doing the tossing usually has something sharper attached to it. Number 3 is the horns. A bison has wandered into a campground overnight, settled down not far from your tent, just looking half asleep when you make coffee. Your phone comes out before the coffee's even done, and you walk toward the animal for a better picture. And then a few steps closer than that. On June the 25th, 2020, a 72-year-old woman from California did that very thing at her site in Bridge Bay Campground, walking to within 10 feet of a bison to photograph it. Then closer, more than once. Yellowstone senior bison biologist said afterward that an animal under that kind of pressure will paw at the ground, snort, bob its head, bellow, and raise its tail before it ever charges. This one, he said, had given every single warning it had. It finally charged her and gored her more than once, and she was flown to a hospital in Idaho. Officials call Goring the worst of the three because the horn doesn't slice, it drives the way a tool drives a fence post into the ground. Once it's in, the animal can whip its head sideways and open the wound up wider on the way back out. More than 5,000 bison call Yellowstone home right now. Every single one of them carrying a pair of those. That's what one bison does when it makes up its own mind. The next one, you're not just dealing with one. Number 2, the herd. Traffic stops dead. The whole herd of bison is crossing the road in front of your car. It's kind of a moment everybody wants a picture of, so somebody in your group sets out for a closer angle. There's a calf nursing right near the shoulder, which makes the whole scene even better for the camera, you know. Well, on August the 12th, 2020, during a motorcycle rally, a 54-year-old woman from Iowa got off the back of a motorcycle in Custer State Park, South Dakota. She wanted a picture of the bison and her calf. The charge didn't come from the mother. It came from a different bison off to the side, one that had decided the woman was a threat to the calf anyway. The bison hooked her jeans and belt on its horn and spun her through the air. Her pants came off and she hit the ground unconscious. She was flown out by a helicopter and survived. Park officials warned people not to even touch a calf because handling one can get it rejected by its own mama. And a mama that just lost a calf to a stranger, don't stay calm about it. Those same 15 years of Yellowstone case files show 60% of the people who got hurt were standing in a group of 3 or more when it happened. So much of the idea that a crowd keeps you safer, don't stand up. No, standing in a crowd near a bison herd is like standing in an open field during a lightning storm. More people around you don't change the odds. It just means more targets standing in range, right? A herd, at least, is protecting something you can point to. The last one didn't need a reason anybody can name, and that's number 1, no warning at all. A few bulls were moving through the trees up ahead on the trail. You and whoever you're hiking with already know the rules from the sign back at the trailhead. So you stop and you let the animals get well ahead of you before you start walking again. Well, on May the 18th, 2026, a 70-year-old woman from Canada was hiking the Coolidge Trail in Custer State Park, South Dakota, with her husband. They spotted 5 bull bison up ahead on the trail, and they stopped, letting the animals move off and out of sight before continuing. Coming around a bend, they found the same bulls again, this time about 50 yards off, and stopped a second time to let them clear on out. When the bison started moving on, the couple followed at a distance behind them, the way that they were supposed to, right? Now, one of the bulls broke off from the rest on its own and charged her. It hooked her and threw her, and she died on the trail. Her husband made it behind a tree in time. It was the first time a bison had killed anybody in that park since 2001. And officials never pointed to anything the couple did wrong because there wasn't anything to point to. Nobody had fed the animal. They didn't corner it. They didn't get too close with cameras. They had done every single thing the sign of the trailhead asked them to do, right up until a decision got made a few feet away that had nothing to do with either one of them. You can follow every rule on that sign the same way you buckle your seatbelt each time you get in the car, and it still doesn't stop somebody else from running the light. That's the part the furry cow jokes leave out. It doesn't need you to make a mistake. Sometimes it needs you to be standing there. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode of The Untamed Lens. I'm Mr. V, and I'll see you in the next one.